Joining me is actor Chethan, who's also the founder and the secretary of Film Industry Rights and Equality, also known as FIRE. Well, with the same FIRE today, he landed up at the Chief Minister's office and handed him a letter. So let me just go to him directly and ask him, what is the letter all about, Chethan?
Ever since 2017, I started, and a lot of equalitarian, justice-minded people, we all got together and started Film Industry for Rights and Equality, FIRE. The reason we started this was because from 2007 to 2017, I had seen that there was this film industry, the way the structure is built, it's a very patriarchal, very highly capitalist-minded, almost very inequality-based, discrimination-based kind of structure. So it's a very anti-women structure. So I used to see women stand up for their rights one time, every time, and just the whole patriarchal system, the whole kind of moneyed, crony kind of dominance of old men, and even vested interests of many women, they all kind of came crashing down on this one woman and character assassinated her, and it would be and kind of victim blame, victim shame. Her voice would be completely crushed. So I realized that we had to, if we wanted any kind of justice, gender justice, and any kind of a better film industry, we have to unite under a single banner as a united voice. So the intention of FIRE in 2017, January, we started 2017, March, we got permission and recognition as an NGO, as an organization. It was to help 3 Ws, the women, writers, and workers. So women, we started Karnataka's first ICC, and we took a lot of complaints. And it was the first ICC anywhere in the country in any film industry. And we also supported a lot of the Me Too victims when they were survivors, when they were attacked viciously by the system, patriarchal vested interests. And we wanted a transparent kind of investigation, and that actually happened. We weren't trying to blame any one individual, but we want justice. So now similar things after we started FIRE, for various reasons, WCC also started, and Women in Cinema Collective, they also pushed the government. They also did a lot of gender equality stuff and pushed the government. And we see that Kerala is not only better in making films and writing content and the success of films, but also in terms of its government actually caring about women's rights and a better society. So that government sanctioned a Hema committee report by Justice Hema, and that came out recently saying 300 pages of how the system is gender unequal and now 62 pages of how sexual harassment is rampant in the film industry. So what we want to do is, in the Kannada film industry, we also want such a report. We want such a report in terms of we want a retired judge, high court or Supreme Court judge, man or woman is okay, transgender, whatever. We just want somebody who has a cognizance of gender justice issues, and we want them to take this seriously and look into it and give an investigation so we could put into play a lot of reform methods that will sort this out as a systemic scourge and clear it and make it a safe and healthy and egalitarian environment for future generations and future women. So we met the CM and gave that petition, which 153 people, many of whom were from the film industry, many of them were outside, all the people who believe in gender equality, men and women and transgender. So we signed that and we gave it to the CM today.
Before I take a conversation forward, so what did the Chief Minister respond in return? Did he give you any assurances?
The Chief Minister gave us a meeting, so we waited 45 minutes, and then we talked to him for 1 minute. He was in a rush, but he took the report, he took the petition, and he said a couple things. Number one, he said, I said we need a Hema committee report. We also need a report. He said, what he said was there was a complaint there. There is no complaint here. And I also said there's so many complaints that we could give you from our ICC and various things. So there's no question of not having a complaint. But and then later on he said, I don't have time today. I will arrange for a lengthy meeting in the future. So we're hopeful that he will also give us that meeting possibly after the 10th, after our president Kavita Lankesh comes back. And also before he left, he made a statement. He said, is there really sexual harassment in the film industry? Now, if that is a question to say, that he wants answers to. We all said, of course there is, and we'll give you evidence for that. We'll definitely give all the evidence necessary to corroborate our case. But if that is a question to kind of act like this kind of, I don't know, this a way of saying it doesn't, I don't want to take action on it because I don't know anything about it, then we find fault with that mentality. We hope that he'll take this seriously. We're very disappointed that but Mr. Siddaramaiah has not been conclusive, has not been strong on this. I saw in the media he didn't give a concrete answer. And even in Mr. DK Shivakumar, the DCM, he kind of, he in a very sarcastic tone, he talks about Me Too. Me Too affects are 48 to 50% of women in this 48 to 50% of the population is women, and probably every woman in some way in her life has experienced sexual harassment to different levels. And if Mr. DK Shivakumar wants to be a DCM for the state of Karnataka, he should care about 48 to 50% of our people and find out what Me Too is, because that's not just in the film industry, it's in politics and it's in various ways. So he should have a consciousness about it. He should learn about that instead of being sarcastic.
Chethan, the concerns that you're raising are also concerns that we've seen other film industries also raise after at the backdrop of this Hema report. Now, firstly, I want your thoughts on the Hema report. How shocking was it when it came out, and what was your thoughts when you saw this breaking?
Now, I wasn't shocked by the report. I knew basically the way the power structure in the film industry works. I was well aware of that. I've been in the film industry for 17 years. I've understood how patriarchal, regressive, and there's no justice mechanism, and so it's cutthroat and dog eat dog, and everything boils down to box office. So it's a very discriminatory and actually ruthless kind of atmosphere here. I wasn't surprised. What I was surprised is that with all the outrage that happened during Me Too and various equalitarians, women and men, fighting for justice, the Kerala government, the administration of the Kerala, had the consciousness to actually put this committee report through and open up and bring out the kind of the findings. See, that government, Pinarayi Vijayan's government, has consistently worked. It's now recently put out something about gender parity, economic parity for the genders. He also he has made the gender equality classes. He has done stuff about dowry issues and taken action. He has consistently expressed, his government, his administration has consistently expressed concern for gender issues and a gender justice mindset, and we respect that. But why does our government, who talks such a bold game about upholding the Constitution, about being that other governments, other political parties are anti-Constitution, and somehow Mr. Siddaramaiah claims he is the custodian of the Constitution, then the equality and justice should not be just in talk and shiny beads and shallow flattery and speeches. It must be shown in action and policy. And we want this. If they could do it in Kerala, why can't we do it in Karnataka? Do we not care about our people? Do we not care about clear-cut sexual harassment or inequality or discrimination? Does that not matter to us? And we want a good government. We want a good film industry. We want good films. We want good everything.
Still, taking from your point there, Etzel, I was talking about the concerns that others are also raising. Now, it's been said that the Telangana government is also sitting on a certain report like this, and now you've come forward, and the response that you're getting, what does it give you about what does tell you about the mentality that we're dealing with? Because even the Kerala government was not ready to release the report in 2019. It took them 7 years to release this report. The other governments are also sitting on it. So what do you think? Why are the governments reluctant? Is it because there are very powerful people who may be named, or is it because they don't really feel like Siddaramaiah asked you this question? Is there any sexual harassment in the film industry?
See, like you said, these governments, these political parties, those leading these political parties are interested in status quo, are interested in maintaining the power structure, are interested in catering to their other patriarchal entities, both mostly men and some women. So that mindset pervades. Now, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, first of all, he sanctioned it, which that's a good decision. Number two, he let it out. I agree, 5 years is too late. But the funny thing is, Mr. Shashi Tharoor makes the statement that I'm disappointed it took 5 years to release. Well, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, if you're as a Congress MP, if you really have so much concern about gender justice and a healthy film industry, then you should come and tell Mr. Siddaramaiah a CM of your own party, that he should put it through, and he should put it through in the next couple of months, because 5 years is way too long. So this kind of petty politics, this kind of just headline making talk, I'm not convinced by it. And the Congress party has always talked a big talk, but not walk the walk. And overall, in every society, by and large, and there is a kind of patriarchal mindset. There's a mindset that we must keep the male dominant society, where women are either sexual harassment is going on, where they are deprived of opportunity, where their safety is an issue, where their education is an issue, where they're oftentimes being killed in the womb. Now, this kind of thing is kind of not being challenged. And number two, there is so this is not being challenged, and we want a government that cares for this. We want to get a government that will bring in justice. And when the outrage comes out, when it comes to women's rights, is only when there's a glaring Kolkata gang rape or a glaring kind of rape and murder, and that's the only time that some kind of outrage about gender violence or gender discrimination comes out. But these kind of sexual harassment in the film industry and various sexual harassment in many fields is normalized, is accepted, is kind of institutionalized. We have people in the film industry who say things like, you have to accept this and come into the industry. So we hold that the woman who rejects this and also gives up her opportunity is a victim, and the woman who kind of submits to this and has to force to accept this is also a victim. So that is the kind of equalitarian mindset that our 153 people who signed on in one day believe it. And this is not a fight of women versus men. This is a fight of people who believe in equality and justice, a very small number of people.
Let me just take another question. Chethan, we've also seen how the Hema report talks about how men asking for sex to women is very rampant, and it's like their birthright. And it also talks about that there is a mafia in the industry. Now, you've spoken about the Kannada film industry to the chief minister, and you've also seen in the last 10 years, you've also mentioned today, in the last 10 years, there are a lot of these things that happen in the industry too. So if you could give us an idea about what are we talking about over here? What are the kind of cases that you have heard and you actually want a sanction on that by the Karnataka government?
See, in our ICC, we took complaints, we addressed these complaints. Each complaint is different in its own context. We cannot look at all the complaints in its own way, in the same way. I mean, maybe the degree of a man forcing himself completely on a woman has been declining, perhaps, from previous years, but the deviousness, the kind of sexual harassment in very deceiving ways might have even been increasing. So sexual harassment has to be looked at in a context by context way. It has to be looked at in a power structure way. And the thing is, in this industry, we're talking about mafias, we're talking about theater mafias, we're talking about various vested interests. And the thing is, in this industry, all the players holding the position of the Producers Association, the Film Chamber, which is the producers, distributors, exhibitors, the Directors Association in its own way for creative purposes of various things, the Artists Association, and even the Wakuta, which is a union that we work with, the workers union. These are all oftentimes very powerful, connected, influential men, old men who have very regressive patriarchal thoughts. I mean, this is how its system works. So people who are vulnerable are 18, 20, 22-year-old, 23-year-old women that come in trying to grow in a film industry, trying to make their name known, and they face this kind of injustice. And when they come out, they're automatically character assassinated and victim shamed and blamed. So we have to get a film industry from FIRE. We are a unified voice to say this is unacceptable. We want a clean industry because women are very talented in our society in Karnataka. They're very good writers, they're very good directors, they're very good technicians, artists. We of course know they can work as in the union, workers union. If we want to bring them in and bring a better film industry and bring in more quality, we have to clean this up and we have to open it up for more true talent, because this is a very hostile, a very dog-eat-dog environment.
I get it. So, Chethan, we've also seen another rise of a chain of Me Too movement that is rising right now. We've seen in Kerala how allegations have been leveled against big actors like Jay Surya. But then we'd also seen a Me Too movement a few years back, and that also died down. Do you think the Me Too movement that is coming out right now, will it also see the same fate? Because there is no concrete law with regards to a woman coming out and speaking. And in most of these cases, we haven't seen the case finding its final end. So how do you see this movement coming out then?
I see it a little differently. Number one, in 2018, 2017, I told you in February, March, we started FIRE. 2017, October, Me Too movement happened in Hollywood. 2018, October, Me Too movement happened in Bollywood, Kannada film industry, and many other industries here. By 2018, at that time, there was a complete onslaught by the powerful vested interests and patriarchal minds against these women who spoke out. It was a complete dominance. And this was within the film industry. This is with outside the film industry. This was by the media. There was no sensitivity to understand the gross realities and the hostile environment of our film industry. But over time, I think we had a transparent investigation that came out and that showed, I mean, we don't expect a conviction because we can't expect that at this stage because first of all, even in doing gang rape videotapes, there's no question of there's oftentimes there's no punishment giving and various people get away with it. So we're not looking for immediate punishment, but we're looking for a spread of awareness. See, what is awareness is that men are now understanding what is the right behavior and what is appropriate and inappropriate. Women are understanding the rights and willing to fight and express that. So I see from 2018 to 2024, which is a 6-year spread, I see a lot more overwhelming empathy, sympathy, and connection with the anti kind of sexual harassment, anti-inequality in the workplace and the film industry movement. And we have people in the film industry who are very known film industry members who have joined on board from in and out, and so who have worked in gender justice. And if you look at when we brought out our letter yesterday, open letter, there was very large scale support from the common public because the common public are yeah, this is a justified demand. This should be done. So there is definitely a changing light. There's an evolution. And in fact, actuality, if you look at, I don't see any of the large scale kind of antagonism that was there at that time in 2018. Right now in 2024 in Karnataka, there's been 2 days since this is going on. We met the chief minister today. We brought out the letter yesterday. There's nobody who's actively coming out in a very aggressive way to oppose it. I'm not saying people should not. You should speak what you believe is true. But let's see what you have and what you offer for a better society instead of just catering to your to vested interests and to powerful lobbies.
Let me just take some quick questions with you before we end this. There's this thing about the industry that people say a lot, and the few days that we've been seeing how the report has been coming out of the Hema Report, that it's a very unorganized sector. The film industry is a very unorganized sector. You have one director making another movie one place and another making one place, and there is no system like this. Do you think in a system like this, fixing accountability is going to be a very difficult task?
It's definitely a difficult task, but it's definitely a very necessary, much needed task. I mean, that's why we need the government involved. See, I listen to Tamil the actor Vishal, and I listened to Nadiga Sangam make a statement. Actor Vishal said women who are asked to compromise must have the courage to take up a chappal and slap the perpetrator. That shows a kind of unawareness of how deeply entrenched the system is, and it's kind of a victim blaming. It's kind of asking the woman should have the courage, and women don't have courage unless they take the chappal and slap. So that mindset pervades even with people who may not even want to support this kind of behavior. And I'm not convinced that Nadiga Sangam, I don't know what type of people are there, but I'm not convinced the film industry in Karnataka can self-critique and self-monitor and self-improve itself. The kind of people that are in the film industry, there's different degrees and different types of people, but the ones in positions of power are very regressive, patriarchal, and backward thinking and inequality mindsets. So that being the case, I don't think it's possible. We need the government involvement. We need the government to bring out the facts. We need the government to look into it seriously. And we need the government to address this issue through policy, not just tall speeches and lofty words.
Along with you today, another organization, another foundation went and met the chief minister, and they also handed in their demand was a Sandalwood Women Artist Association. So do we see you and them inclined in the form of ideas at least, or do you see that the two organizations are coming out? That means there is a demand for a report like to come out from Karnataka also.
I'm not speaking for any other organization. I don't know what their demands are. They have a right to speak. Everybody is a democracy. They want to. Anybody who wants to do good for the film industry, let them do, and they have a right. And I'm glad people are coming out and talking. But our demand is very strong in that we want to establish a gender equal film industry. We want to rid all the wrongs and injustices in the film industry. We also want to have. We also want to make a writers guild. We want that to happen. Our artists association, and for the good of film industry, did a Homa Havana Yagna, and I don't think that is in any way good for the film industry. I think that's just a unnecessary publicity kind of issue. What we need is a nice, very strong writers guild. We've been fighting for that. We want star culture to be kind of undermined. We want various things. We want violence culture to be undermined. We want gender justice. We want a film teaching education courses. We want workers benefits. We've already in fire given 160 homes for workers. So there's a lot of things we could do for the film industry. And if somebody wants to do it, another organization, more power to them. Let everybody do and do it their way. But we are going to fight in fire at a strong level. We're going to build in fire as a film industry unit, as somebody who truly cares for the film industry's well-being and a healthy film industry.
Last question, Chetan, before I let you go. Since the last few days, we've seen how there's this turmoil in the industry with film regards. A lot of youngsters who wanted to enter the film industry are now concerned. Their families are concerned. So, youngster who's watching today, what would you tell him when he hears about sexual harassment cases in the industry, and he's worried about whether he should be a part of the industry? What would you tell him?
No, I mean, even if we clean up sexual harassment sooner or later or whenever we do, we cannot say the film industry you will completely achieve some sort of like what is conventional success in the film industry. I mean, what you can do at most is hone your skills depending on which department you want to be, understand how the business works, because at the end of the day, film industry is a business. Film industry is a commercial venture. For anything to succeed, no matter how creatively profound it is, how excellently technical it is, it has to recover the money that was invested. So that being the case, it is you must understand the business and hone your skills. So we want people in the film industry who understand the creative aspect, who understand content, who understand how to make good work in a reasonable budget and reach it to the people and make good screens. And we want also to clean it up in the background so that we can have more talented creative people from different types of backgrounds, such as a lot of women who can come into the film industry and offer their creativity and talents and help our Kannada film industry be possibly one of the best film industries in the nation, both on and off screen.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. I hope, Chetan, you get that longer meeting that you're waiting for with the Chief Minister and your concerns are met. Thank you for speaking to us, Chetan.
Thank you for having me, Waji. Thanks for doing good journalism. Keep it up.